Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Saskatchewan is reporting 10 new cases of COVID-19. None of the new cases are in the region that includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. There are 4 cases in Saskatoon, 3 in Regina, and 1 in each in the Central West, Central East, and Southeast zones. 138 cases are considered active, and 11 more people have recovered. 5 people are in hospital, 1 of those in intensive care. The Provincial Health Authority has declared a multi-jurisdictional community-transmitted outbreak involving a series of full gospel outreach events in Prince Albert. Contact tracing is underway and currently involves more than 100 people across Saskatchewan. City Council has passed the e-commerce grant, providing up to $500 to Lloydminster businesses that had expenses for moving online during the pandemic. Eric Bay reports.
A total of $20,000 has been allocated from the grant, using funds that are left over from this year's budget. The money comes from savings after multiple events in the city were cancelled because of COVID-19.
They've basically come back to council asking for a redirection of those funds. And I think that from a perspective, it's not new money that's being found or taken out of reserve. As was mentioned during the meeting, it's an opportunity to try and ensure budgeted money is put to good use.
Councillors believe the grant will be a boost to smaller businesses that were forced to create new online platforms during the shutdown in March.
I think when we're looking at those smaller businesses, we need to realize that, $500 could go a lot. I've heard from different different business owners in terms of a website development and e-commerce platforms, and they really do come under those $500 thresholds. So for them, it really has made the difference.
The grant is aimed at businesses that haven't qualified for aid from other levels of government.
The federal government has done programs, the provincial government has done programs, and not all businesses even qualify for those programs. So this is an opportunity for potentially a business that may not have or may have received some funding from one of the other levels of government to help out just a little bit.
The application process is expected to open in the next few weeks. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Local businessman Sean Davidson is entering the municipal election, putting his name forward for a seat on City Council. Davidson says his family is the reason he decided to run for council and believes Lloydminster is poised to bounce back from the pandemic.
We're heavily invested in Lloydminster. We are here for the long run, and I need to do my part to encourage businesses to come back, the economy to thrive, our real estate to come back up, really for Lloyd to turn around and be a driver and a leader in industry.
The economy is Davidson's biggest priority, using the city's funds responsibly.
Being fiscally responsible and making sure that the city, which is a business in itself, is spending money the right way, and we're not going backwards, and having input to really drive our security is super important.
The municipal election will be held November 9th. The United Way kicked off their campaign month by delivering breakfast sandwiches across the community. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, support for the annual breakfast fundraiser turned out to be a huge success, with donations from various companies across the city to help make it all possible. The event saw the amount of sandwiches surpass their goal of 1,000 to 1,300, as funds from this event and the month of October continue to support the United Way.
So all the funds that we do raise over the span of this next couple of weeks really will help us to continue our operation throughout the year. We do continue to fundraise throughout the year, but this is by far and large our biggest source of income.
With many organizations relying on the United Way in Lloydminster, it was announced the United Way will be a part of the second round of federal funding emergency community support from the Canadian government that will help many Canadians during the pandemic.
If you go to our website, we have applications now open until the 30th of October. So we'll be going through those applications for nonprofits and other support organizations within the community, and we'd be happy to divvy that out within Lloydminster.
The next fundraiser for the Lloydminster United Way will be the 3rd annual 50-50 beginning next week. In order to help students relax and focus, LPSD offers a space in their schools giving students that opportunity. And this week's Beyond the Classroom, we look at how the Chill Room is helping these students. In schools now, we see students using resources like fidget spinners or a chill room to keep focus. This room at Jack Kemp School is a space where students can do so.
We all learn ways to self-regulate as people, as individuals, and as adults we do things like drink our coffee or fiddle with our earring like I might do, but kids need to learn more appropriate ways to self-regulate instead of doing things that might be more unexpected, so such as like ripping paper or fiddling with things they shouldn't be. We teach them ways to regulate appropriately and that they can carry into their teen years and adulthood.
Before starting activities in the room, kids mark out on a board how they are feeling that day and then start their routine.
I have schedules to go to the chill room. If the teacher sees me doing work very good, she won't send me to the chill room, but she will if I'm kind of not doing my work, because it chills me down from all the frustration.
LPSC has been introducing these programs in schools for just over a decade, and during that time it has been expanding to what it is now and more.
Over time we've seen it evolve into developing, so that's part of my role, is developing spaces and new innovative ways to incorporate strategies that help kids and support learning. So you're going to see different things in classrooms nowadays, like different kinds of seating, different kinds of corners and spaces with tents. And
the COVID-19 pandemic has created some difficulties on how the room can be used.
We can sanitize in between, and a lot of the focus is on that and personal space and being able to move within our physically distancing environment.
Students and staff sanitize before and after they are in the chill room.
You have goals, and Lakeland College can help you achieve them. Visit lakelandcollege.ca or email hello@lakelandcollege.ca.
Today in Ottawa, the Liberal government announced details on a key election promise to ban single-use plastic nationwide starting at the end of 2021. CTV's Ottawa Bureau Chief Joyce Napier has the full rundown on what will be prohibited from Parliament Hill.
Canada produces 3 million tons of plastic every year, and less than 10% of it is recycled. And as the demand for plastics grows here and across the world, getting rid of it has become a global crisis.
Couldn't believe the amount of plastics.
And today, Ottawa announced it wants to do its share by banning some single-use plastic items.
The ban is really on those things that are very difficult to recycle, and therefore we feel that they should be taken out of circulation.
The list of banned single-use plastics includes grocery checkout bags, straws, stir sticks, six-pack rings, plastic cutlery, and food takeout containers.
These plastics are not really recyclable. They're challenging to collect, they're expensive or challenging to recycle.
And they end up in landfills, the ocean, or dumped in the environment.
I know it is presently hard to come back from the grocery store without a single-use plastic item, particularly around packaging on food.
Made even harder by the pandemic, when takeout and the plastic in which it's delivered has replaced dining out, and masks and other PPEs have become everyday items.
We can't allow one crisis to make another crisis worse. And so I don't think that we can allow the COVID pandemic to give us a free pass in terms of other pressing environmental issues, whether it be plastic pollution in this case.
Absent from the list of banned single-use plastics are plastic bottles, coffee cups, and lids. But Ottawa is launching a consultation process until December 9th. The new regulations will come into effect at the end of next year. Joyce Napier, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
Thanks very much, Jasmine. Looking at temperatures right now, 13 degrees. We had an in-between day between sun and cloud mixes there, but right now we're sitting at some more cloud coverage. Not as much wind, though, as we saw the last couple of days, just under 10 kilometers an hour. But as we look at temperatures around the area, 14 degrees in Vermilion, 13 out west in Vegreville and in Edmonton, 14 in St. Paul, Bonnyville, and Cold Lake. A little bit cooler up in areas like Lac La Biche and Isle La Crosse, sitting at 10 and 11 degrees. We also see 14 in Maidstone and North Battleford, along with Provost and Macklin right now. Now, as we look at the satellite radar map, not a whole lot of activity, pretty calm for the most part here. We won't be getting any precipitation anytime soon, mostly just some of that cloud coverage continuing our way here for the next couple of days. But as we take a look at the school day forecast for tomorrow, 8 a.m. we'll see a nice 7 degrees to start the day off, and by the time recess comes around, it'll go up by 2, sitting at 9, and a little bit more sun around that noon lunchtime hour at 12 degrees, and then a little bit more cloud coverage coming in near the end of the day around that 3:30, 4 o'clock range, with our daytime high tomorrow of 16 degrees. So this is what we could see overnight. We see 6 degrees with cloud coverage in North Battleford going into tomorrow. A little bit warmer than what they are today, sitting at 19 degrees, just shy of 20, with that winds coming in from the south and southwest at 19 kilometers an hour. A little bit cloudier in Cold Lake for the next for the next day here. 5 overnight, with 14 tomorrow being the daytime high, with some cloud coverage to follow suit there. And then for us here in Lloydminster, we'll have a 6-degree overnight, and then 16 tomorrow with a little bit of sun, but mostly cloud coverage for the most part. Now, as we take a look here at the next 3 days, there is a 24 to 30% chance we could see some showers for tomorrow, mostly in the evening. We see a 10-degree daytime high for Friday with continued cloud coverage on, and then a warmer Saturday as we get ready for that Thanksgiving long weekend. 19 degrees is expected daytime high for Saturday. We should have a little bit more sun expected, and that low of 5 degrees. But as a first look at your weather forecast, we'll have more Primetime local news coming up after the break.
The AJHL kicks off their exhibition season this upcoming Friday. Every team will play a home and away series, with the Bonnyville Pontiacs kicking things off with the Fort McMurray Oil Barons. Evan Kenny has more ahead of the game.
After a 6-game first-round loss in last year's playoffs, the Bonnyville Pontiacs are back on the ice and ready for a new season. The team is looking to build on last year's 4th-place finish with a record of 33, 24, and 4.
Our players are in a unique situation versus past years because we've already have established a little bit of our structure and a little bit of a camaraderie and a little bit of a team chemistry, as the teams in the AJHL have. So it's going to be real intense hockey to start off, and I'm really excited to see that, and our players are really raring to go.
Returnees this year include 2019-20 team leading scorer Matthew McKim, third-year goaltender Easton Hess, and a member of the AJHL selects team that traveled to Russia, defenseman Josh Kroon.
For our team, we've got a lot of size this year along with skill and speed. We've brought in some big bodies who will be able to throw their weight around, so we won't get pushed around out there. They've all got good hockey sense as well, and so I think we'll be definitely someone to watch in the North Division.
I'm really liking the team so far. It's a great group of guys, all with good character. We've got some confidence going into this year, knowing that we're going to be one of the top teams to play against. We've got a high-paced team here, got a lot of skill, good size, so I'm looking forward to it.
While being on the ice twice a day through training camp, the Pontiacs have picked up on habits Rick Swan wishes the team will continue on Friday. Unfortunately for Swan, the team has also picked up on bad habits.
The one thing is that you don't get into game habits, which the exhibition game is going to be a real telltale of where we're really sitting. And the other thing that I like is the fact that we've got players that are closer together now than they have been in the past, and we're able to work on some of the small detail in their game.
The Pontiacs lineup will have a veteran presence this upcoming season. So far, only 6 players on the current roster are rookies.
It's always huge for every team, no matter what's going on or what the circumstances are. You got to have a good leadership group to show the young guys how to play in the league, how to act as people outside the rink.
Games will be played at the RJ Lalonde Arena on Friday and Saturday before heading up to Fort McMurray next weekend. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Thanks very much, Jasmine. Look at temperature still sitting at 14 degrees, and that's the number we see around most of this area right here, as we see out west in Edmonton and Whitecourt and Red Deer also sitting at 14 degrees. We see 12 degrees out in Rocky Mountain House, with 11 right now in Edson and in Jasper, 13 up in Athabasca and in Cold Lake as well. Out east, North Battleford at 14, with Saskatoon at 15, 13 degrees in Melfort, and then 12 in both Prince Albert and in Meadow Lake. Over in the northern areas, as we take a look, a little bit cooler, especially as we get to the far north there, in areas like Uranium City sitting at 2 degrees, Stony Rapids at 1, and then Wollaston Lake sitting at 0 right now. We see 4 degrees in South End, and then 8 degrees in Flin Flon and Buffalo Narrows, and La Ronge sitting at 9 degrees. Over in northern Alberta, 11 in Slave Lake as well as in Grand Prairie, 13 for Peace River, and then we see Fort McMurray a little bit cooler sitting at 9, and Fort Chipewyan sitting at 6 degrees, with 12 degrees in High Level right now. Now, as we look into southern Alberta and Saskatchewan, 20 in Lethbridge, with Medicine Hat sitting at 18 degrees right now. We see 15 down in Calgary, and then 14 for Coronation. We see 16 degrees also in Banff as well. 13 degrees as we move over into Kindersley and Swift Current, 15 degrees out in Moose Jaw and in Estevan, and then 14 degrees out in Regina. Now, as we take a look across the rest of the country, pretty similar, pretty different temperatures in terms of the way the sun and cloud mix is there. We see Regina with a little bit clearer skies in Winnipeg sitting at 13 right now. Toronto also sitting at some sun and cloud mix there at 11. A little bit more cloud coverage in Quebec City sitting at 11, along with St. John's with some showers currently right now. 15 in Halifax as we move out west. Edmonton with a little bit more cloud coverage than the sun. We see some rain out in Vancouver at 15, and then 5 degrees in Yellowknife, with 6 degrees in Whitehorse as well. Now, here's what we could see for tomorrow. We're only going to be up 2 degrees from what we are sitting at right now, with 16 for us here in Lloydminster, Vermilion, and Marwayne as well. We move out a little west. Vegreville sitting at 15, 13 out in Edmonton, along with St. Paul, 14 degrees up north in areas like Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Pierceland as well. We'll see a little bit cooler temperatures up in Lac La Biche at 11 degrees for tomorrow. A little bit warmer as we head down south into areas like Provost and Macklin, sitting at 19, and then 20 degrees for Macklin tomorrow. North Battleford also sitting at 19 degrees tomorrow, with 17 in Maidstone. Now, here's a look at the next 7 days as we get a little bit cooler on Friday with that high of 10 degrees, and then we'll have a high of 19, on Saturday. We do have a chance of getting some showers on tomorrow with that 20 to 30% range there. We could see showers expected on the Sunday as we are into single digits for our daytime highs there with that 91% chance of showers. 9 degrees on Monday with the daytime high, and then we get into lows of minus temperatures there. Yes, it's going to be a little bit cooler on days like on Tuesday and Wednesday, with lows of -1 expected there. But that is a look at your 7-day forecast for now. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
So I'm joined today with Dr. Corin Berg. He's from the Lloydminster Animal Hospital. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today.
Oh, pleasure to be here.
So this week is Animal Health Week. So before we get into anything that the Lloydminster Animal Hospital is focusing on, can you just talk to me a little bit about what is Animal Health Week?
Every year, Animal Health Week is just put on as just to get a little bit of national exposure and focus on, the importance of animal health, and especially oftentimes is how it relates to human health. So we always try to put in some kind of a focus that, we can kind of rally around. Some years it's been on insurance, some years it's been on vaccines, other years it's been on nutrition, and this year it's on zoonotic diseases.
So this year, obviously, zoonotic diseases. Can you just talk to me a little bit about briefly what that is?
Well, zoonotic disease has nothing to do with zoo animals in particular, as a lot of people will want to try to take that focus. Anything zoonotic just means it's a disease that can be transmitted between people and between animals. And for the most part, we kind of think of it going from animals to people, but there are situations where the reverse can be true as well.
So how can those diseases be transmitted between animals?
Well, a lot of times it means that there's close contact between, an animal that is carrying a zoonotic disease and ourselves. And I mean, these can range anywhere from, parasitic diseases to fungal diseases to viral diseases to bacterial diseases. And, you know, again, there usually has to be some sort of relatively intimate contact. So, you know, pets, livestock, horses, all of these guys are potential sources for these diseases.
And so looking forward, this is obviously Animal Health Month, but we want to keep ourselves healthy too. So how can these diseases be prevented in animals and humans?
A lot of times the prevention in humans is just kind of comes down to common sense. You know, some of the things, especially if you want to talk about the viral things or certainly the bacterial things that are out there, you know, is just making sure that we're practicing good hygiene. Wash your hands, you know, avoid eating while you're handling animals, those sorts of things. As far as prevention in our pets, and livestock, it's more towards, you know, just watching your animals and knowing that if there is something that appears out of the ordinary, that you get it checked out right away before it gets a chance to linger there, and that we can potentially become exposed because of that.
And are there certain group of people that might be more at risk when it comes to zoonotic disease?
Oh, for sure. Anybody that's immunosuppressed. I mean, that category of people is always more at risk. That for some of the things that we deal with, if you do have a good immune system, it doesn't mean that you won't necessarily get sick, but you might not get as sick from it. So that, you know, anybody undergoing chemotherapy, you know, other immune-mediated diseases, you have to be a bit careful with those folks around animals.
And why do you think it's important to recognize that Animal Health Week and, you know, raise awareness about certain diseases?
It's because we're in this one health world right now that, you know, human health and animal health is intimately intertwined and related right now. So what happens in our world oftentimes can have a large effect on the overall human health and vice versa to a degree. So you can't really separate these two out. So it's just to make people aware, you know, if you didn't grow up on a farm or don't have pets or anything like that, just to understand that, you know, even from food safety and things of that nature, that that there's a very close relationship between those two worlds.
And before we leave, is there anything else you want to add?
Not really anything specific. I just might go into a few of the things, you know, people might say, well, what sort of zoonotic diseases do you see commonly? And, you know, the things that we probably see the most common that owners will come with as fungal infections are a big one. You know, ringworm. Ringworm in people is not actually a worm. It's a fungus that is spread from animals to people in most instances. You know, is quite common, certainly in cattle. Young animals, dogs, cats can certainly carry it as well. And again, it's not a life-threatening illness, but it can be somewhat disfiguring if somebody does contract this. The other one that we actually have seen and had a lot of experience with is for farmers that have calves in the springtime. These calves get these diarrheal diseases. Some of these things can easily be spread to people. And, you know, again, farm folks are in intimate contact with their animals a lot, and there's a disease called cryptosporidium that we've actually had some clients, you know, contract, and they and their families will wind up getting sick along with their calves. So this isn't just, you know, just stuff that we theoretically talk about. I mean, we do see this on a daily basis. Thankfully, most of those things, I mean, they are manageable and they are treatable. If you wanted to talk about the things that we really worry about as far as severe health threats, I mean, rabies would be the obvious one. You know, if a human contracts rabies, that is invariably fatal. So that is one that we get very, very excited about as far as, you know, making sure that we're taking all the necessary precautions.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Korenberg. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me today.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
Joining me is Jana Thompson with the Olive Tree. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. So Thanksgiving weekend is coming up here. Can you tell us what food items is needed at the Olive Tree at the moment?
Yeah, obviously we need our basic pantry items. Things specific to Thanksgiving or more all the fixings. So all the pickles, the butter, the milk, all of those little things, cranberry sauce that kind of make it extra special. We loved getting that. We also are really short on single serve items right now just for our school kind of support programs. So things like fruit cups, cereal, peanut butter and jam, stuff like that we can send out. That's also really needed right now in the food bank.
And with COVID-19 this year, has it been tough to get donations more?
It is a little bit harder. We're so thankful for our community. Every time we usually put something out, they try and step up and donate. So that has been amazing. It is a little harder right now, just to be able to keep up with the demand of food. And we only see that kind of getting worse over the winter months and into the spring.
And do you think the olive tree will get lots of support for the holidays this year?
I'm hoping so. Again, every year before this, it has been amazing. Our community's really stepped up to provide Christmas hampers, because that's coming up. We're doing Clothes for Kids right now during the holiday season to supply winter gear for kids in the school that may not have it. And some of the other Christmas things like the toy collection and everything like that. So we're hoping that it hasn't changed, but we do understand that a lot of people are in a hard spot right now. And we're just thankful for any support that we get right now.
And how has the olive tree been keeping up with safety precautions with also Thanksgiving coming up this weekend, but also with normally community meals, of course?
Yeah, so how it kind of looks right now is we are still limiting our capacity just so we can safely social distance, allow the outreach workers that are kind of on the floor to make sure things are being sanitized and wiped down. Masks are recommended if you can't social distance. There's a lot of different things in place. For Thanksgiving specifically, we do have tickets that you have to in order to enter. That's the only way we could kind of do it to enable us to be able to provide a safety aspect and then count the numbers that we can have in there. So if you are interested in coming, please give us a call or stop by the thrift store and you can pick up a ticket to join us.
Is there anything different the olive tree plans to do this year due to the pandemic?
I think we're just playing it by ear. I think that's a lot of people trying to make sure that obviously all of our staff, our volunteers, and our guests are all safe when they attend our programming. Our limited capacity is still in place, so just so we can have that kind of social distance environment. And other than that, all of our programming is at full force. Our seniors luncheon, our community meals, our moms program, men's coffee, all of those things are proceeding, and the food bank is very busy. So we're just making sure that we have all those safety aspects as per Sask Health in place.
And what exactly are the ticket times?
So our ticket times this year are 4:30 to 5:30, so that's our first sitting, and then our second sitting is from 6 to 7. So we had a little gap in there just so we can sanitize everything, reset everything, and just get it ready to go.
Is there anything else you want to add for residents to know about?
No, we're just so thankful for the support that we, again, receive all the time. If you think of us when you're out shopping and you want to pick up some school supplies or anything like that that we can distribute, that's amazing. For Thanksgiving, we just want to say thank you. We've had so many calls and just offers of support in that. It's been amazing. We've purchased quite a lot, so lots of people have been donating monetary funds towards it, and then all the little fixings and stuff you want to pick up, that would be greatly appreciated.
Perfect. So thank you so much for joining me today, Jana.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, taking one last look here at your 7-day forecast. We take a look for tomorrow, 16 degrees for the daytime high. There's a possibility we could have some showers, most likely at 30 to that 24% range there. As we get into Friday and, of course, long weekend coming up, 10 degrees on Friday with some cloud coverage continuing on. We'll still get a little bit of sun, and then we'll get around that 19 to 20 degree range on Saturday. Then we'll drop down quite a bit here on Sunday with 91% chance of some showers with a high of 7 degrees, and then 9 degrees on Monday with a low of 0 on that holiday Monday. And then, of course, as we see, we're starting to get into the minus temperatures for our daytime lows. High is 7 on Tuesday, and then high of 11 on Wednesday, averaging around 13 for our daytime high and averaging around 0 for our lows. So we're still kind of, as we get into past Monday, we'll start to be below those average daytime lows.
Thanks for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.